Hello, how are you doing today? We're going to talk about 6.8, the factor theorem, which sounds like we're going to do something different, but we're not. We're doing the same things all the time, but it's math class. What else are we going to do if we don't do the same thing all the time? So the first thing here is asking us, do we know if 23 is a factor of 1766? Well, in order to find out if it's a factor, we've got to divide. And let's see, 23 goes into that about 7 times. What's that, 161? Leaves me with 1, 5. My 6 comes down, and I think that's about 6 times, which is 138. Whoop, missed that little bit there. It's at 18. Now, as soon as I hear and get here and have to bring down a 0, that means I'm putting a decimal in here, and there's going to be a number here. That means no, not a factor, because it does not go into it evenly. It has a remainder, not going to be a factor. And that's the basic idea of everything we're doing today. We're going to divide and decide, do we have a remainder or not? Do we have a decimal? If no, then it's a factor. So, example 1 here. Oh, yeah, that's what that says. If it works into it, you get a remainder of 0. If not, it's not a factor. And what that also does is that gives us parenthesis groups that are factors of it, which also means we have then solutions and roots and zeros or whatever it is you want to call them. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to set every one of these up with our synthetic division. Get my 1 here, my minus 8, my plus 21, and my minus 18. Get that. Remember, positive 2 out here always changing from our parenthesis group over to here. And sometimes kids are like, wait a second, that's not a parenthesis group because there's no parentheses written, but it's always implied. If you got your x plus or minus your number, it's a parenthesis group. It's just what it is. So let's bring that 1 down and let's work through this here. 2 times 1 is a 2, gives me minus 6 minus 12, which is 9. And oh, look at that, 18 minus 18 gives me 0. So the whole point of all this is just to find out, well, what do we got right here? If we get a 0, then we choose yes. If we get any other kind of number there, then we would choose no. But 0 means yes, it is a factor because it goes into it evenly. X minus 2 would multiply by x squared minus 6x plus 9 perfectly to make that. Alright, so this is all we're doing today. We're just doing a whole bunch of these. So I'm going to work them out. If you want to check some of them out on your own, for the most part, you can. And just check and see if your answers are good or not. So 3 goes here. Got 1, 9, 14, and minus 24. So again, doing our synthetic substitution, the 1's going to come down here. Bring up 1 times 1, or 3 is 3. 9 and 3 make our 12. Times 3 again is, this is, wait, that's, oh my goodness, what's that, 40, 40, oh crap, I just messed that up big time with my 3 there. Is that 50? I'm sorry. What is wrong with me today? Yep, there we go, 50, I'm sorry. 150, and then we subtract that and get 126. Well, as soon as I realize that is not going to be a 0 here, then I'm picking no. And move on with our lives. Alright, so is 5 a 0 or root of this? Now, when it's written this way, we are not going to change it. We're just going to write it because it's not in the parenthesis group. It's not talking about it being a factor. It's asking about it being a 0 itself. So, here we are with all of our wonderful things. Bring down that 1. What's that going to be? 5 is minus 5 is minus 25. And 5 times 14, 50, 60. Oh, look at that. Minus 70 leaves me with 0. So yes, yes it is. Alright. So again, like I said before, go ahead, give this one a try. See if you can work it out on your own. Hit pause, fast forward a little bit. These are really just the same thing over and over and over again. Just kind of working our way through here. 12, we get a 6, and so therefore no, because this is not 0. Alright, now this is where we're actually using this information to do some more stuff. We know that this is a root. It's telling us that. It wants us to find the other answers, the other roots, the other factors, if you will. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our division. We're going to find out what we get. Alright, 1 comes down, 3 minus 1 minus 3 minus 20, and minus 60 gives us 0. So what this does is this tells us that x squared minus x minus 20, when multiplied by, since 3 is a 0, that'd be x minus 3, takes us back to this. And if you wanted to do some box method right now, go for it. That's what it's going to do. So we've already got our one factor with the 0. We need to figure out what's going to happen here. So now most of these, at least for right now, we're going to be able to factor them nice and easy. Eventually we're going to get to where you're going to have to actually solve them using the quadratic formula, or maybe some completing square if you're into that. But for right now we're looking at what multiplies to 20 but subtracts to make a 1. That's going to be a minus 5 and a plus 4. So we get x equals a positive 5 or a negative 4, along with our positive 3 from the original. But our other two zeros are 5 and negative 4. Remember, always changing signs when we go in and out of that parenthesis group factoring. But remember back in the day when I promised you that if you didn't learn how to factor, the rest of the year was going to be trouble? Here it is. Plus 3 minus 16 minus 48. Alright, so our 1, 4, 7. Yeah, it's at 28. Why am I freaking out here? 12. And, oh, look at that, 48. That's when you know you feel like things went right. Alright, so that's really x squared plus 7x plus 12. So again, we're looking at what multiplies into a 12 but adds up to 7. That's going to be x plus 4, x plus 3. So my other answers are going to be negative 4 and negative 3. Fun stuff. Alright, we got a few more examples just like. Alright, so example 7 and 8 here, they're more of the same. It's just another way of writing it. It's telling us that this is a 0, so again we're just going to put the 2 here. We're not going to make it negative because it is not a parenthesis group. It is not a factor. Alright, and I'm going to fast forward through the process here. There we go, so just kind of snaking our way through our process. That means we've got x squared minus 10x plus 24. So again, looking at our factors, what's going to multiply to 24 but add up to a 10? That looks like it's going to be a minus 6 and minus 4, meaning that x equals a positive 6 or positive 4. Alright, number 8, same thing again. We're going to put our negative 2 out here, and I'm going to fast forward through the division part. So there we go. We got a x squared plus 9x plus 18. So what's multiplying to 18 but adding up to 9? I think that's a x plus 3 and a x plus 6. 3 times 6 makes 18, and 3 and 6 make 9. So x equals negative 3 or negative 6 as our two other roots. Alright, and our last little sample CCSD question. This is what your semester exam question is going to look like at the end of the year here in June. We're going to do our same thing. Again, this is a factor. It's saying divided by that, so we want to use our negative 2 as we go through this. 1, negative 3. that? 10 minus 1. Wait. No, that's plus 1. Ah, my fault. Almost ruined my day. So we get x squared minus 5x plus 1. Bam. Right there. Alright, so that's all I got for you today. Make good choices out there, and we'll see you in class.